Well, hello, it's Matthew Blades, and welcome to Learn from People Who Lived It, the shorts. What we've done here is taken some of our favorite episodes and condensed them down into 15 minutes or less. This is one of those episodes that I hope you'll really key into. There's so many great lessons here, so many things that we can learn from people who've lived it. And Ryan's episode is quintessential. ASI, let me tell you about ASI-AV.com. This audiovisual company has been with me since the very beginning. And if you are responsible in any way for IT at your company, building out courtrooms, classrooms, corporate builds, you just want to put new TVs everywhere, they can handle all of that stuff. ASI-AV.com. Thank you. Let's jump into today's episode.
My name is Ryan Pinney, and I am 41 years old.
What story are you here to share?
I'm here to share my story, which is a story about spinal cord injury and the dark days, the bad days, but it's a story about overcoming those days.
Who do you hope hears this?
I hope those that hear this are those that have had a traumatic experience happen to them, those that may feel like their future may be bleak, and those that need encouragement to get through those and their tough times.
Welcome to our next episode of Learn from People Who Lived It. I have an interesting relationship with our next guest. We met because of his idea to propose to his now wife. And then there was the accident, the reason that we're here today. Now, what's about to happen is three men are going to talk about their feelings. Feelings about not being able to walk, feelings about winning a medal at last year's Paralympics, and so much more. I love calling this dude a friend. His name is Ryan, and I welcome you to Learn from People Who Lived It. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? I'm very happy to be here and share my journey.
I know. I'm excited, too. Dr. Frank Bavacqua, as always, along for the ride. Dr. Frank, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. I've been looking forward to this record date for a long time now. So, Ryan, let's just jump right into it. July 12th, 2012. What was happening to you that morning? You wake up to do what?
So that day I had two different races, two different bikes that I'm racing, a cruiser and a 20-inch. And in the cruiser class, I had just finished third. I'm ready. I'm feeling good, hyped up. I take that bike to my truck, grab the other one, run to the starting gate, find out that I'm in lane 8, and gate drops. I hit the first berm, come around, another cyclist hits my front wheel. I get crossed up and I go over the handlebars. I'm just thinking, tuck your head, protect the head. And as I land, I just feel a pop, feel the wind get knocked out of me. And that's about it. No more pain. I just think the wind's knocked out of me and I think everything is okay, but it's not.
It's got to be moments later, Ryan, that you realize that you can't feel your legs, correct?
Yeah, it's very short moments later. I mean, I remember looking up at the track coordinator, the EMT that's standing next to me and saying, I'm okay. These are the exact words I say. I'm okay. Just push my legs down. And he just looks at me all puzzled. Push my legs down. Never mind. I'll do it myself. And I look and I realize my legs are already on the ground. And that's when the shock kind of comes in. The coldness goes through your body of what just happened. And this is not good.
Are you able to articulate how it feels?
I don't know if you can articulate how it feels because it's just a mental thing at that point. Like, you don't feel a break. You don't feel, there is no pain. There really is no pain. Yet at the same time, you're injured. And it's just trying to wrap your mind around something when, at that point, my whole life is flashing before my eyes.
This is where Learn from People Who Lived It, to me, is different from anything else because we're going to talk about it right here, right now. You had an amazing upbringing, and I think Dr. Frank Bavacqua would agree with me that amazing upbringing, all that love you felt growing up completely prepared you for this moment ahead. That doesn't mean you didn't go through all of the emotions. And before we jumped on, Ryan, Dr. Frank and I were kind of talking about how some things are just universal, right?
Yeah, just the loss of identity. There's so many different things that can happen to us in life that changes the way that we have to sort of see ourselves. And Ryan obviously went through a huge one of those, but in different ways, we all go through something like that at some point, and it's hard.
Let's get into the deep end of the pool here, Ryan. Are you angry? Are you upset? Are you suicidal?
I'm not suicidal. I never was suicidal, but despair, yes. In dark places at times, yes. Always, no. But I mean, there are days still to this day, I'm angry. I get angry. I wake up and I'm like, man, they're still not here. Especially early on. And I don't know if it was necessarily that I wasn't beating the odds. I never wanted to be a burden on anybody. And that's where it goes into to my now wife. I didn't want to be a burden on her, and I didn't want to let her down by not being the one that didn't walk again. I was supposed to be the one that beat the odds. We were supposed to have the amazing story about how he was the one that never gave up, and the stories are always told that this guy was told that he wasn't going to walk. This guy was told that he was going to die of cancer. This guy was told that he was going to do whatever, but they overcame those ones, but that's all that recovery was to me early on, was walking. That was recovery. And I didn't want to let her down. I didn't want to let my family down of not walking again.
You said something so amazing there, Ryan. You said to me, recovery was walking, and I can hear it in your voice. I can hear the emotion in your voice. You've since learned that that's not what recovery is it?
Oh, recovery is. Today I am recovered. Recovery is breaking through the walls of your mental state. It's not being able to do the same things that you did before a traumatic experience.
The piece I think that struck me is, and again, it's a universal thing. We make these assumptions about what we think other people want or need from us, or who we want to be for them. And a lot of times we're wrong, right? If we actually ask the question, what they want is for us to be happy, or maybe to find some renewed purpose, or to get better at being present again every day, instead of longing for what was. A lot of times they want something different than what we thought they wanted for us. And I wonder, did you ever have that conversation with her? Did you ever?
Yes, that's a great question. And yes, I did. And that was early on, being in the hospital bed, going through inpatient recovery. It was a late night. That's when the demons come, right? Is in late nights, and both of us are having our emotions, or we're both grieving, crying. I'll never forget that night. And I just looked at her and I said, you can go. Like, I don't want to be a burden to you. You can go. I want you to have everything. And she looked at me and responded with, I want you. And this doesn't have to change you. I want you to be who I fell in love with. And as long as this doesn't change who I fell in love with, I'm sitting here right by your side. And she has been there ever since. That day, for me personally, I knew that I was the rock in our relationship. But that day I realized I may be the rock in the relationship, but she's the boulder in our relationship. She's under surface level that's keeping this rock up.
How did you wrap your head around understanding that it is actually a strength rather than a weakness? Because there's somebody out there who needs to hear how you made it happen so that they can make it happen.
Patience, honestly, patience, because I didn't want help. I mean, I remember even being in inpatient therapy, having somebody who's a therapist trying to help me get into a wheelchair, show me how to get into a wheelchair, and they have legs. And I'm just looking at them going, are you kidding me? You have the leg muscles, but at the same time, they're trying to help me, figure it out, trying to show me and teach me how to get into my car from a chair. And yet I'm looking at them going, you can just stand up and do it. This is not the same, It was finally that peer-to-peer interaction, having somebody who's been there, who's done it, show me, hey, dude, you can get in the truck. You can get in a truck that's lifted. Let me show you how to do it. And this is how I do it.
So you guys are in Tokyo and your team takes bronze. You were in a couple of individual races. Let me back up just a little bit, though, and ask you a little bit about the training to get ready. Like, how did you get selected to be a part of Team USA? Where were you when you got the phone call? How much free shit did they send you? Like, what is that whole experience like, right? Come on, Frank. You knew you wanted to know, right? How much shit did Adidas send you? What did you get?
How much swag? Like, you tell us about the swag.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh, man. Well, the training started, the training started 4 or 5 years ago. And then finally the phone number for the race director comes up and you're like, oh my God, this is it. Oh my God, this is it. And all the years of training, all the turmoil, all the hardships, laying in a hospital bed, all that just comes to the forefront, and you're like, man, look how far we've come. And I say we because this is not a me thing. This was a journey that my wife had been on step for step ever since she told me, I am with you. It was a journey, and she got to be there and hear the race director say, hey, Ryan, you made it. You're on Team USA. You're going to represent your country. And the feeling that I had being able to don that uniform again, because in 2014, that uniform was taken away from me from the military. It was a realization that I get to represent my country again in something that is bigger than I am.
One of the last questions I want to ask you about is when you're competing in the Paralympic Games and you win that medal. Obviously, it's not the one you want. Everybody wants gold, but you still walk away with some hardware. And say what you will, but only 3 countries got to do that. Can you talk us through that event and that race? Was it suspenseful? Was it unique in its stature? Can you walk me through it?
Yeah, for that medal event, it was a team relay. What's really cool about that is I had done 2 other events, the time trial and the road race, and those are individual events, right? What's cool about this is the only cycling event that is actually a team event. So you do what you can for the team, and then you're relying on the team to get you where you're going. We unfortunately had one of our top athletes crash earlier in the week, so he was not there, but we had a great backup and Alicia Dana who took over for him and just killed it. But what was really special for me, regardless of the medal, like you said, it's a medal, right? One of my buddies, one of my closest friends, Freddie De Los Santos, was also a part of that team. And me and him go back to my earliest days of racing, my first race in California and my first race overseas in London for the Invictus Games. He is a huge mentor to me. And he saw me take my first pedal strokes, in racing, and was encouraging me from day one, saying, you got a bright future. You got a bright future, my friend. You got a bright future. And when he crossed that line, he'd been to previous Paralympics, but I didn't realize that was the first time that he had gotten a medal as well. So Alicia is just a powerhouse, has multiple Paralympic medals. So it was great to share the medal stand with her, but also realizing that I was sharing that moment, my first moment, with Freddie, who was sharing his first moment. And it goes back to my first days racing. It was just a special, special moment. And we can call ourselves Paralympic medalists. Doesn't matter the color. It's just an exhilarating thing to look back and realize how many people have been in your path and why they have been there. And now I get to do that with somebody who's been there so close to me. And it was, I'm sorry, this is long, but it just made me think of everybody, including you, Matthew, that has been there along the way. And I felt like everybody was standing on that medal stand with me.
What a dude, huh?
Am I allowed to say that this is my favorite one?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We have 3 goals with Learn from People who lived it. 1, to help you feel less alone. 2, encourage you to seek out a coach, a therapist, a church, anyone who can help you get through your journey and find some healing. 3, when you're ready, share your story with us.